Okay, so hello traders and welcome to another free Forex trading session. Today, just like what we discussed on the group, we're going to be looking at entries and entry confirmations. So we're going to be looking at this topic because that was what it was one of the suggestions, and then Collins, that's my assistant, decided to pick this one. I don't know why he picked it. Do you understand? But then that's what we're going to look at. Now, when it comes to the whole idea of entry confirmations, yeah, entries and entry confirmations, or entry and entry, it's entry and exit criteria. I think that's what they wrote there. Yes, entry and exit criteria. So when it comes to that, when we look at entry and exit criteria, we're just talking about, okay, what are the things I look out for before I jump on a trade? And then what are the things I look out for before I get out of a trade? Get out of a trade from the perspective of stop loss or take profits. So your exits, most times we focus on getting opportunities in the market that we don't really think about our exits, but our exits are also very, very important. I used to say this thing to my students that if you enter a trade and then you don't know how you're going to exit, it's more or less like going to go and rob a place, and then you don't know how you're going to escape. In both conditions, they'll take your money back. Do you understand? So if you rob and you don't know how to get out, they'll take the money back. Same thing with trading. If you jump on a trade, even if it's in profits, if you don't know when to exit, they will still take the money back from you. Do you understand? You end up losing everything. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. We'll start with the whole idea. We'll start with the whole idea of entries. So, what are those things we consider before jumping on a trade? Do you understand? Now, when it comes to entries, yeah, most times we talk about it from a perspective, or we look at it from that whole perspective of, okay, what are those confirmations I should look out for before jumping on the trade? Do you understand? I think that's supposed to be the title of the this thing of the topic instead of saying entry criteria, because entry criteria now I have to factor in everything that I look at before jumping on the trade. So now I'm going to start from that perspective, which is first of all looking at the trend. What direction is the market headed towards? Now, once you get the trend determines what sort of opportunities you look out for. Do you understand? So once you determine if the trend is either bullish or bearish, let's say it's bullish, then you get what zones you're entering from. So if it's either support or resistance or trend lines or Fibonacci or fair value gaps or other blocks or breakers or whatever, do you understand? Whatever you decide to use, do you get is is the next thing you actually factor in. Now, once price taps into this level, that's when it starts becoming very, very interesting. Let's say I get an uptrend. Price is pushing to the upside, it's creating a series of higher highs, higher lows, and then higher high, higher low. Price creates another higher high, and then I come and then see that the market has started retracing to the downside. I see that the market has started retracing to the downside. This is the retracement, the dotted line. I am more or less looking at, okay, where will this retracement stop? And then I say, okay, I'm looking at, oh, price tapping the 0.618 of Fibonacci, somewhere around here. And then price comes to tap into that level. The question now becomes, what do I do? Do you understand? That's where it starts becoming interesting. I was like, let me tell these guys on the group that we've already started. Let me use my phone. Okay, okay. Oh. So, like I was saying, once price taps here, there's that whole question of what do we do or how do we approach it? Now, you have two ways. You can either look at approach this from an aggressive perspective or a conservative perspective. Now, when it comes to the aggressive perspective, yeah, you're more or less jumping on this trade without any questions asked. You're jumping on the buy. So as price has tapped here now, I'll just buy, drop my stop loss, take profits. But then when it comes to the whole conservative perspective now, I have to look out for extra confirmations before I jump on the trade, extra confirmation on my entry time frame. Now, entry time frames, It's another talk. It varies from trader to trader, depends on the kind of trader you are. But then it's mostly our lowest time frame. Do you get? Now, these confirmations you look out for can either be market structure or candlestick confirmations. But then for today, we're going to be looking at market structure confirmations. So when price taps this zone, let's say I get this whole setup here, this whole bullish trend, and then this zone where I'm looking to buy on the 1 hour time frame. Are you guys with me at all? Please, if you are with me, just indicate in the chat box. Let me know if we're together. Let's not be that I'm talking to myself. Okay. So let's say we get this set up on the 1 hour time frame. Once price taps this zone, now if we're looking for market structure confirmations, now we'll drop to the 15 minutes time frame. Sorry, we'll drop to the 5 minutes time frame. Now, what are we looking for on the 5 minutes time frame? A shift in market structure. Now, mind you, you see this whole push to the upside. This whole push to the upside is going to look like an uptrend on the 5 minutes time frame. That's that impulsive move. Now, once price starts selling to the downside now, it's going to change and turn to a downtrend. Sec. Yeah, it's this person. So let me change this to, let's say, red. That's the 5 minutes time frame. Are you getting the whole idea? Now, as price has tapped here now, if price is going to react here and push to the upside, it's going to start doing an uptrend. Do you understand? So having this at the back of our mind now, yeah, once price taps into this zone, what we are going to go about looking for is that shift in market structure. Do you understand? That whole thing where on the 5 minutes time frame now, the downtrend that was happening should be invalidated. It should change to an uptrend. Are you guys getting the idea? So once price taps this zone, and then let's say it creates a lower low, lower high, fail to create another low, or even creates another lower low, and then breaks above. Once it breaks above the previous lower high, then it's giving us an idea that, okay, this market, the buyers I'm looking for want to start kicking in. Do you understand? So it's not just a coincidence that this thing is happening around the zone where I'm looking to buy. Are you getting the whole idea? If let's say price was not going to buy at this level, price just continue pushing to the downside. And mind you, these entry confirmations we're looking out for is just an additional confirmation or confluence that, okay, these buys we're looking out for, is it really going to happen? Because we understand that if we just jump on these buys on the 1 hour time frame, price might just continue going to the downside. So once you get that confirmation that price will reverse here, and this is the confirmation that 5 minutes changing toward an uptrend. Now, immediately price breaks above that 5 minutes high, we're going to highlight it. Now, we're going to use that 5 minutes resistance turn to support now as our entry point. So in this case, what we're going to do now is wait for price to come back and retest that level. Now, the moment price retests that level now, we're going to look to buy. Now, like I said, exits are also important as entries. So once we buy here now, let's say we get our entry here. This is our buy level, somewhere around here. That's what I'm looking to buy. I'll put that as ash. Put that as ash. Then our stop loss, in this case now, will be a few pips below that confirmation. Why are we using a few pips below that confirmation? Why isn't a few pips below? Let me change that to red. Why isn't a few pips below that confirmation? Because if this level now, or if this whole shift have started, or if that reversal I'm looking for has already started, then price should not go back and then invalidate this to the downside. If it invalidates it to the downside, then it means the buys we are looking out for will not actually work or doesn't. Oh, there's no potential that it will actually come in. I'm trying to look for the right English. Sorry, guys. Do you understand? So that's why I'm dropping a few pips below. And you see that we have a tight stop loss. Now, where are we going to target? Our target is going to be the 1 hour high. That's where we're going to target. The 1 hour high. So we're going to target the 1 hour high. So it's going to look something like this. Entry at that 5 minutes resistance turn to support, stop loss a few pips below, and then we target the 1 hour high for something like this. So now we're looking at price tapping this level and then basically continuing to the upside to what hit our take profit level. Do you guys get the whole idea?
Yes, we did.
Good. So now the last gold trade we took was based off of something like this. So let me go to gold charts. The last gold trade we took, I think, which was last week, the signal I sent aside from what's it called? Aside from NFP. So we're going to look at gold. Gold, actually USD. So this is gold. Yes, this is gold. So let me replay. Take it back to the setup here. Good. So now this was gold on the 1 hour time frame. We more or less and more or less analyzed it from a perspective of we had higher high, higher low, and then another higher high here. Do you get? Now, plot our Fibonacci from the most recent um higher low to the most recent higher high, and then I was looking at a buy at the 0.618 level. Now, immediately price came to tap that 0.618. You see that it tapped 0.61, it passed 0.79, but then it did not close below yet, so it was still bad. What I did was I went to the 5 minutes time frame. Let's go back. Went to the 5 minutes time frame. Now look at the 5 minutes time frame. You see that as price was retracing to the downside on the 5 minutes time frame, we're having a series of lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower high. Sort of like another lower low, lower high, lower low here. So what we're looking for is something like a shift in market structure, just like the example I showed you guys. So let's watch and then see how it played out. Price was still pushing to the downside. We created lower high now. Okay, we have not created a lower high yet. Still not created it yet. Sorry, still not broken above it yet. So I've still not invalidated a downtrend. Now, this candlestick to the upside actually broke above this high here. So at this moment now, we more or less invalidated that whole downtrend. We more or less started shifting to the upside. So in this case now, we'll be looking at price coming back to tap this level here and then what's basically buy to the upside. So our entry point is going to be here. Our entry point is going to be here. Stop loss a few pips below the confirmation, which is this low down here. Now, Most or sometimes to be better, people will suggest that okay, put it here for a tighter stop loss. But then I've seen moments where, especially gold, it will want to come and like take out these lows before it will what, go back up. So to be on a safer side, just drop it below like the lowest points on this low on this entry time frame, which is around here, somewhere around here. A few pips below. Don't hug your stop loss. Do you understand? If you hug it now, your trade will not have breathing space. Now, for our take profits, we have to go back to the 1 hour time frame to what, set it. So we'll go back to the 1 hour time frame to set our take profits. One sec. Okay, good. So we're back on the 1 hour time frame. One sec. So this is the setup. Our take profit now is going to be the 1 hour high, which is here. That's either the 0 or minus 0.27 of the Fibonacci. Do you understand? Let's drop back to the 5 minutes and then take a look at how it played out. So this setup got how much risk to reward? Let me see. So see, price already, sorry, as we went to the higher time frame, it played out a little bit. So you see that price came back to like tap that level and then it started buying to the upside. So this whole trade now, we have a 3.4 risk to reward, 3.4. So now price basically tapped the zone and then it started pushing to the upside. Let's play it and then see how it basically played out. Now, see what I was talking about, price coming back to take out those lows before pushing to the upside. If we dropped our stop loss slightly below here, now you see that price came back to take out that low before it went back up again. So let's see how it eventually played out. Good. You see that after that, price basically went up to what? Hit our take profit level. But then what we used as our confirmation now was that 5 minutes downtrend invalidating, or that 5 minutes downtrend changing. So now your entry criteria for this trade using market structure confirmation is that change on the 5 minutes time frame. That's what you use as your entry confirmation. Are you guys getting the whole idea? So aside from latecomers, because I know latecomers not really understand, but then for latecomers, we're talking about using market structure shifts on the 5 minutes as our entry confirmations, where if price tap our zone on the 1 hour time frame to get a confirmation, nice to drop to the 5 minutes time frame to basically look for a shift. So that shift more or less, that's on that 5 minutes now, that retracement will look like a downtrend. So we're looking at that retracement changing to an uptrend around the area where we want to buy from. Do you understand? So it's changing now basically indicates that buyers are starting to creep into the market. I don't know if you guys get the idea. So the advantage of this is that you see it very, very early and you end up having like a very tight stop loss. So that's basically it when it comes to looking at it in an uptrend or for a buy opportunity. Now let's look at this for a sell opportunity. Now for a sell opportunity, it's going to be something like this. One sec. Let's say we got a downtrend. Yes, let's say we got a downtrend. Let me delete this. Where price is creating a series of lower low, lower high, then another lower low, and then lower high, lower low. And then we come to our charts and then see that the market has started retracing to the upside, where we see that price has started pushing up slightly. So we're looking at where this retracement will basically stop. Let me change the retracement to a dotted line. So we're looking at where this retracement could potentially stop. Now, mind you, we got this set up on the 1 hour time frame. Now, if we are going to use entry confirmations on the 5 minutes time frame now is we're dropping on the 5 minutes time frame. Now, the 5 minutes time frame, I'm going to change it to another color. But then on the 5 minutes, this retracement to the upside is going to look like this. So let's say the zone we're looking to use is the resistance level. That's where I want to sell from. We're looking at price coming to tap this resistance to sell. On the 5 minutes, that retracement to the upside is going to look like this. So something like this. Change the color of that to green. Change the color to green. So something like this is going to look something like this. So we're looking at this whole 5 minutes uptrend. We're looking at it to change. We're looking at it to reverse towards a downtrend. So once price taps this resistance, and then we see that price does something like this, where the market changes to the downside. Let's say price starts breaking lows. Then we have gotten our confirmation. This thing happening around the level where we're looking to sell is not just a coincidence. Do you understand? That uptrend on the 5 minutes invalidating is not just a coincidence. It signals that sales have started what creeping into the market. Now, once we get something like this, that 5 minutes support turn to resistance will be our entry level. So we are going to be looking at price coming back to tap that level, then we sell. So now we are going to look to sell at that point. Our entry point here, let me change this to ash. Our entry point here. Stop loss a few pips above that confirmation. So why we're dropping our stop loss here is because if this whole thing now is a confirmation that sales have started creeping in, then the buyers are not supposed to be strong enough to what? Push price above it again. If price goes above it, then it's more or less invalidating the setup. That's why our stop loss is supposed to be slightly above it. So stop loss there, I'll color it red. And then our take profit is going to be the 1 hour low. So color that green. So we're looking at price stopping at that whole 5 minutes resistance, support on to resistance, and then basically what? Selling to the downside. Do you guys get the idea? Please, if you guys are with me, just drop maybe an emoji in the chat section so I know you guys are with me. So I know I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, so let's continue. Let's look at an example. So the key thing here is once price taps your zone on the 1 hour time frame, you drop to your 5 minutes time frame to basically look for a reversal. So now let's go to our chart and then see if we can get a couple of examples. Let's look for a sell opportunity. Let me see. I think we got like this whole nice sell opportunity recently on, was it BTC? No, not BTC. Hmm. Let me check GBP USD. Okay, let's look at something like this. Yeah, something like this. Hmm. Let's look at something like this. This looks interesting. Yeah, looks interesting. So if you look at GBP USD here, you'd see that, mm, yeah, you see that we more or less created this whole low here, more or less like a lower low, lower high. Then price basically pushed to the downside to create like another lower low here. And if we're using that, our previous support onto resistance is going to be something like this. We'll be looking at price coming back to tap into this level, then selling. Now, the moment price taps into that, sorry, it was moving fast. Uh, oh, we got like a minute. Now, the moment price taps into that zone, yeah, you basically drop to the 5 minutes time frame. You drop to the 5 minutes time frame to look for that whole change on the 5 minutes time frame. So let's see how it played out. So now this was the movement on the 5 minutes time frame. So if you look at it, you see that the moment price taps inside, we got some sort of a shift. The market ranged, pushed up, then pushed to the downside, and then broke these lows. So that will be our entry point. The moment price taps into this level now, we'll be looking to sell. So sell here. Stop loss now will be a few pips above that whole entry confirmation. A few pips. This is how many pips? This GBP USD. Then we push targets the 1 hour low. 1 hour low is going to be something around here. Something around here for a 2.30 risk reward. So let's say I played out. Oh, price actually went to take this one out. So let's look for another opportunity. Let's look for another opportunity. Let's go back to the 1 hour time frame. Mm. So let's use this one. If you look at this, we momentarily had like a shift in market structure to the downside, where after price created like this higher high, higher low, failure to create another high, we created this low, another failure to create another high, then we broke below. So we shifted to like the downside. If we're looking to use this whole this whole 1 hour support onto resistance as our entry points, yeah, that could work. So let's wait for price to tap inside. So now this candlestick taps inside. The moment it taps inside now, we drop to the 5 minutes time frame to look for our entry confirmation. So now this is the 5 minutes time frame. So if you look at this 5 minutes time frame, you see that we had some sort of uptrend where price was creating like higher high, higher low, higher high. It's pushing down to create what? Like another higher low. So we're looking at this uptrend invalidating. Do you understand? We're looking at it changing to a downtrend on this 5 minutes time frame. So it has tapped the zone. Let's see if it changed. It has not changed yet. Okay, it has. It just changed now. So price just broke below these lows to the downside. This candlestick closed below. Let me highlight that well. And then price went back. This green candlestick now went back to tap that level. So our entry point is going to be here. Stop loss a few pips above here. And then we target the 1 hour low, which is down here. This one is not really good. It's just like a 1.2 risk to reward. But then that's basically it. We'll have to follow the rules. So let's see how it played out. So price tapped and then started doing like it wanted to sell to the downside. And it eventually started selling to the downside. So let's say I played out. And eventually it went, did it go back to like tap that take profit level? Yeah, it has hit the take profit level. So here, something like this. So the key thing here is that before we jump on these trades, we have to actually look at the lower time frame. Do you understand? We have to get that whole shift on the lower time frame. Those shifts on the lower time frame now will give us an idea that, okay, this reversal we're looking for at this particular point wants to start. So we should start what? Looking to sell or buy at those levels. I don't know if you guys get the whole idea of this thing. So that's basically it about entry criteria, and then exit criteria using market structure confirmations. So in our next session, we'll talk about using, I think that's next week, Tuesday. We'll talk about using candlesticks as our confirmations instead of market structure as our confirmations. Now, for those of you that joined late, I'll be posting this video on YouTube later and then sending you guys the link. And if you don't want to miss any of our future sessions, you could look to join our community where we like talk about this and then drop signals there once in a while. One sec, let me post the link to the community. Uh, yeah. So the link is in the chat box for everyone. So you would get the link to this video too on the community later. And also remember I told you guys about the broker we're using currently, which is Validax. And I told you guys that one thing I love about it, or one of the things I love about it, is the whole idea that we got like minimum deposit at $1. So even if you don't have much, you can still look to trade it. And if you look at the accounts I funded for you guys last week, it was still like $10. It was not much, but then yeah, it was something. So, and then another thing I forgot to highlight for you guys is that they have a Sense account. And I think it's one of my students that actually talked about this. We talked about this like the other day, where he was telling me it's not like I was not aware of Sense accounts, but then I was not like using it actively. You get, I've never used it. So the whole idea of a Sense account now is let me show you guys what it looks like. Add accounts. So see it here. You have where is it? Yes, a cents account. So now when you put like $10, I think it's 10. Okay, $1 is going to look like $100. So $10 is going to look like $1,000. So you can do proper risk management. If you have like small money in your account, you can still do proper risk management with it. But then if you make like $1,000 on it, it's just like you making $10. But then it gives you that avenue to sit back and then relax and then trade the account. And like I said, their minimum deposit is what $1. And if you look at their pro accounts, you see that like the ECN account, the one with like the lowest spreads, the minimum deposit is $500. If you go to XNest to like get that account, the minimum deposit is 500. Do you understand? So they have like good trading conditions, and I'm still going to be funding you guys for like high impact news events. Do you understand? So please, if you're looking to register it, I'm going to post the link. Let me get the link and then post it for you guys. Yeah. So don't take my word for it. Yeah. Register, verify, and then try test their trading conditions. You see that their withdrawals are fast. Their deposits too are also fast, and then they have nice trading conditions. If you have any problems with it, you can always talk about it on the group, or you can always DM me, and then their support is always on ground to like assist us. Do you understand? So that being said, if there are any questions you guys could ask, yeah, but then we have like just 2 minutes left.
I have a question.
Yeah. I'm listening.
Now, after price has tapped into your 1 hour, that zone that you have marked in the 1 hour, okay?
Yes.
And then when you go down to a lower time frame, that is 5 minutes,
Yes.
and then you miss that shift in market structure.
Okay.
You are not seeing that invalidation of that trend. What should you do?
Okay, so when you don't see that shift in market structure, you don't jump on the trade, you leave it like that. Do you understand? The shift in market structure is more or less
Yes.
our confirmation. Do you understand? So even if we don't see that shift and then price moves in our direction, the criteria for our entry is that shift. Do you understand? So we don't derail from it, you stick to it. Do you understand? Do you get the whole idea?
Yes.
Any other question? Okay, so this session will soon end. I'm going to, if there are any questions, do you guys have any questions? Is there any for us to host another one? Okay,
So
so
now, last question.
okay, one sec. Yeah. So for the sake of the YouTube video, we're going to end it here. So for those of you that watch this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the page. For those of you on the session now, I am going to end it, but then use the same link to join again immediately.